Good morning. Hope you're all well. Welcome to this edition of Tip Off. Sorry, I have to check on YouTube and see if it seems to be working. All right, we're all good. Sorry. Good morning. Sorry, it's a little later than usual. The Mythbusters podcast will launch today as well. This is my hotel room in Oakland, as you can see. Hope you are well. A lot of stuff to talk about. Let's go big picture first. Last night's loss. We can look micro, and there's some free throws that probably should have been made. The offense really, really stalled in the second half. We just don't have playmakers, and when you don't have playmakers, it's really hard to score. That's Jefferson's the closest we got. He was pretty good last night, and that's why the team needs him so badly. I often will point out a lot of warts in him, that he doesn't shoot high enough percentage and this and that, and those are all true, and they are probably preventing us in Al going to the next level. Though boy, is he ever improving every time. But those are without him, you still just don't have any playmakers at all, and this team desperately needs him. The macro picture is there's kind of three steps to a team's development, and you can look around the NBA and see teams that aren't doing this: Washington and Charlotte and plenty of others along the way, in Sacramento. And the first step is you got to play hard. I mean, really, it's that simple. You got to play hard. And the second step is you have to play right. And then the third step, kind of at that point, you begin to get into some intricacies of how you become good. But really, in my mind, the third one is, can you dictate a game? In other words, do you play hard enough and do you play right enough that you're not always at the whim of the other team in how the game is going to go? And I thought we saw that yesterday. First half was an up and down running game, ton of dunks, insane highlights. I mean, from an entertainment value, you can't have a better night than you had last night. And then in the second half, the defense made key adjustments, played right, took away the dunks. I don't think after the first 5 lobs or so we had many more, if hardly any. And Blake's first 5 field goals were dunks. Their first 6 were dunks, if you missed it. And then from there, we were able to get into this grind-it, physical, pounding game. That's a huge step. And then the fact that our guys did it. Gordon Hayward was probably as big a deal as anyone in that. When Gordon Hayward and Mo Williams got into it, and Gordon wouldn't back down. It's the first technical he has ever received at any level. He was kind of pissed about it, actually. When we were getting on the plane, we were talking last night. We walked on the plane together, and he was just saying, I mean, if I'm going to get tech and if it costs me a bunch of money, I at least got to get into a ref's face or, say something, or that's not worth it. And I was like, no, that's worth it, dude, because you held your ground. It's become one of my favorite things every night, watching everyone try to punk Gordon Hayward and have it not work. It really has become truly one of my most favorite parts of every night. And it doesn't work, including last night when Gordon ended up guarded by guarding Chris Paul for part of the night and really did a nice job. You wonder if tonight he's going to end up guarding Monte Ellis to start and how that's going to work. I mean, you try to guard Monte Ellis, that might be about as tough a matchup as there is in the NBA. And I do think that's the matchup that he's going to end up with tonight. Without Raja Bell and with him playing the 2. But Chauncey Billups, who's older, not as quick, went 1 for 9 last night. With Monte, he's just not a very good outside shooter. And so the thing Gordon can often do at 6'9" is back off, cut off your driving lanes because he's so long, and then still be able to get out to the shooter. And I actually thought he did a pretty darn good job of that last night as well. With everything. Oh, wait 1 second. Hello? That was my wake-up call. I guess they decided I wanted the second one. I showered. I'm up. You might get. I probably haven't turned off my other one. I have the world's worst alarm clock. The world's worst. And you may just hear it here in a minute. Where was I before I was so rudely interrupted by a hotel phone call? The reality of living on the road. So Gordon here, I thought the young kids I thought all of the young kids were really good last night. Cantor had a defensive possession that if I get a chance and can screen save it and break it down off synergy today, which it might be a little difficult, I will try, where he popped out on the pick and roll late in the third quarter. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's what gets me up. It's the only way to get me up on the road. Um, the rooster. Sorry about that. Cantor had a defense possession where he slid on 2 points. I thought it was great. They hit that outside jump shot. You're seeing him get better. He just played much more confident after the experience in Portland. If you've been listening to us talk with David Thorpe and Henry Abbott's Royal Jelly concept, we're seeing the Royal Jelly work for Enes Kanter the other night. He got that opportunity, got the key minutes, he stepped up, he played with more confidence the next day. Favors, I thought, had the best quarter of offensive basketball I've ever seen out of me. Then doesn't do it in the next time out, but that's, if he were to start doing this every time out, he'd be a finished product, and he's nowhere near. But we saw him with a bunch of moves, a bunch of quick moves, and Ron Boone shared with us that what happened there was, Ty really spent a bunch of time with him at shoot around and worked with him, not worked with him like on the floor, but more conversing about where to go, what to do, and things like that. And we saw it pay off. So a lot of neat stuff there. Alec Burks, Gordon Hayward. I mean, Ron Boone just simply said, he's got to learn how to not waste possessions. He's taking the bad shots he's making so he can't play them. And that's probably true. He does not have the value of a possession that's necessary as of yet. I saw a bunch of you guys last night, Lord C and Diane Allen and a bunch of the other diehards out there. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. Let me go to Locke tip-off for a few minutes here. Excuse me. Do you have defense numbers on what Favors held Griffin to versus what Millsap did? No, I mean, Favors was far better on them. I don't. I could look into it than just on the shots. Some of it might be more than his shots. Might be simply that he forced him to give the ball up more. But no, Paul against the last two games against Aldridge and Griffin has struggled defensively and struggled a little offensively. And you wonder, I mean, Paul's fabulous and he's gaming it incredibly and he just gives you everything he has. The reality is, there are still some reasons he was a second-round draft pick that are active. He's short, he's undersized, and you wonder whether or not, he just wears down a little bit. But we've seen against Aldridge and against the Toronto game, and we've seen in that game that when he's trying to go one-on-one, he is not capable always of even getting a shot off and beating guys. It's just not who he is. But he sure has developed nicely and it's become quite a player. Without a star on a bench that is almost as good as its starting lineup, how hard is it to lose anyone on this team? In theory, I would think that we were actually better off than most people. Last night we certainly missed Raja and we certainly missed Earl, but the game goes on and we don't have that drastic drop-off that some other people have. Harris has a great pick and roll with Favors now. Why don't we see more of it in the clutch? Also, what's the success rate of the play? I can look that up on Synergy. Devin is a pick and roll guy, though. Boy, he didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter last night. He has got to find a way to make plays for this team in some capacity. He's doing a nice job of running everything, and we're so post-dependent that it's hard for him to make plays out of it. We've got to find a way to get some playmaking out there, or else these games are going to be much more common than they are right now. And really, the concern that I have as I look at this team is we're playing so hard and we're playing right, but we're doing it at home, and that's really hard to do on the road. Boy, it would be incredible if they can maintain it on the road. But that's what it's going to take for us. Ty had the great quote. You just got to be in someone's face for the whole time. If you didn't see on my Tumblr account, I posted that quote. I don't think I can pull it up while recording something. So that's who we are. That's our definition, and that's going to be hard to do on the road. Trying to do that on the road, I think, is going to be very, very difficult. Tonight, if we're a step short, these guys have some three-point shooters that are on the planet. Brandon Rush is 15, was last 18. Klay Thompson's 11, was last 23. So you've got to get out of shooters, and if you're a step slow tonight with Monte Ellis penetrating and kicking back out and Steph Curry distributing, we could have a tough night defensively tonight against these guys. Free throws was a big thing on tip-off from C Sublime and some others. They've got to get better. They've got to get better. And what does an outside shooter do this team? Well, if he plays as hard as everybody else and he battles, it would be fabulous for this team to be an outside shooter. They certainly need one, and it is holding them back in the fact that they don't. All right, that's tip-off. Sorry, it's a little shorter today. Just got a bunch of junk going on, so fun stuff. I'm actually back home, so we'll see the folks and try to get my work done on Bart and some things of that nature. So appreciate it. Sorry for a short tip-off a little later. I got to figure out how to do West Coast tip-offs. I didn't really honestly feel like doing it when we arrived at 2, so 3 o'clock your time and posting it up there. So I think this was the best way to do it. A little shorter than usual, but hopefully it'll be all right. And if the quality's not as good today, let me know. I didn't set up my whole apparatus that goes on the road since we're in and out so quickly. All right, we'll see Jazz Warriors tonight, 8:30 tip-off back home. Scotty G and the crew will bring you the pregame show, and we'll podcast Mythbusters with Kevin Pelton today, up and available for you, I think, already. See you.